there are times y'all gotta admit that the other woman is better for him. There's times when we break up with these men and we see them with new women and it's like, you know what? She is more your speed, bruh. She really is. I know with my ex, when I see him with his new girl, I really was able to recognize that she is a better woman for him. Men need to be with a woman that they can lead, that they can feel like, she respects them and stuff like that. And the man that he was in the relationship with me, I did not respect him in real life. He could have never led me. He wasn't intelligent enough to lead me. He didn't have his together enough to lead me. Someone can't lead you that you doing better than. So I'm not mad now that I see he had to go get women that he could lead, because everyone should feel validated in their relationship. And I could not do that for that man. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't fake and act like his plan was better than my plan. I couldn't fake and act like I could really trust him to provide and lead me when I knew damn well I could do a better job at it. But there are other women out there that, will get with him. And I see him with other women, and they are more submissive to him based on where they are in life. And they are a perfect couple. Real facts.
There's a lot to say when it comes to this video. So I'm just going to talk about the first thing, right? First things first is that I think that she's able to have this conversation or to say these things because she probably stepped away from the relationship and she no longer wants to be involved with the man at all. There's a lot of women who step away from relationships, but they're not truly done with the relationship. Or what they're expecting is that when they step away is that the man is going to be groveling and come back and kind of beg to be with them in a relationship. And so she's speaking from a matter-of-fact place because she no longer wants to be with that person. She realized that she did not have any respect for him, that she did not respect his leadership, that she did not want to be in her rightful position within the relationship and take a back seat and be able to allow him to be what he's actually supposed to be within the relationship. She came to the realization that she could no longer do that. The problem is that although there are women who are in relationships, there's a lot of women who are unfortunately extremely not self-aware, right? They're unable to step out and away from the situation and look at themselves and see the things that they're doing or the help that they're adding to break up or to create the demise of their relationship. There's a lot of women who are extremely disrespectful to everybody. Not just their man, but to everybody around. And if somebody were to say to them, I can't believe you disrespected me, they're going to act like they have no idea what you're talking about. There are women who there is nobody who can quote unquote lead them or put them in their place because they're out of control. There's a lot of women who blame the man in a certain space and say, oh, well, he could have never checked me. He could have never put me in my place. He could have never been because, he wasn't even smarter than me. He didn't have it together. He didn't know what he was doing. And the reason why sometimes that same man can get into a relationship with another woman and it works out, it's not necessarily because she is maybe, less intelligent than you, or that she's smaller than you, or she is, at a certain place in life or whatever, how you see it. Sometimes it's just a simple fact that woman knows how to deal with a man. Maybe if you were to sit down and talk to that woman, you would be surprised of the stuff that she actually knows. However, she understands her duty and her responsibility when in a relationship in the role that she's supposed to be playing. That's one of the biggest things. I hate to say it, but I have to be real, is that there's a lot of women who think that a man downgraded because maybe the woman doesn't look like how you look. Maybe she doesn't have meet certain criteria that you would deem her to be a good woman, but it doesn't make her any less of a good woman. By no means. You don't have to like it. You don't have to think it's cute. You don't even got to think anything about it. It matters what he thinks and how he feels. One thing that that she said that I definitely agree with. It's the same thing that I believe Sister Shaharazad Ali says. And I want to preface by saying this before I say what I'm going to say that Sister Shaharazad Ali said. But as I definitely advocate for relationships, I definitely advocate for marriages, and at the same time, I want to be realistic. Everything is not always going to work out. You can put as much work in, you can and try to be the best version of yourself, you can do all the things, but at the end of the day, it takes both parties being willing and being open to making it work. The reason why relationships last most of the time as long as they do is because the man doesn't listen to when the woman talking about she gonna walk away from the beginning, the first time, the second time, and the third time. Most of the time, the people who leave relationships are women. We see it when it comes to divorce and all those things. Men are more prone to stay because of their stability in nature. Women have no problem with change. Okay, they will get up and especially if they feel they have the opportunity to pick, choose, and refuse, they have no problem. However, when you are in a relationship, and though the man is stable, whatever the situation might be, there are times that I think it's very important. And this is also why, okay? This is also why I find it very important that the vetting process and the dating process is extensive enough that you can see this person in different facets. I strongly believe that. And I feel like if a lot of people were dating with intention, with asking the right questions and vetting properly, going through different life stages and seeing how this person moves when different things come at them, I feel like we would be able to, a lot of people would not be treating marriage like dating. They would understand that when I get to this step of my relationship that I'm going to be married to you, this means that we're going to make this work regardless. We're going to figure it out. We're going to grow together. We're going to do whatever it is that we have to do. And from the man's point of view, he has to know for sure that you are respectful, that you're going to respect him. You're not just going to, go toe to toe. You're not going to outman him. You're not going to get on the phone and go tell everybody his business. He has to feel secure and stable and safe with you in that way. And as the same as a woman wants to feel safe, secure, protected, and led as well. But one thing I thought was very interesting was that this woman said, that he wasn't intelligent enough to lead her. He was lesser than her. He didn't have none of his stuff together. And I think that says more about her and why or how she got into a relationship and it even lasted for however long that it did, based off of you knowing all that information. Being in a relationship as a woman with a man that you don't respect, you're doing yourself a disservice. And what I was going to say that Sister Shaharazad Ali said is that if you do not respect a man, come up out the relationship, go ahead and ease back, take a step back and allow leeway for a woman who can respect him to enter your space. Because you're just causing havoc and creating chaos for no reason. That's the only thing that you're doing. What I was saying also is that, the reason why the vetting process needs to be so extensive is because if you do want to make sure that you're married and it's going to stay that way, you have to make sure that your principles are aligned. You have to make sure that your non-negotiables are aligned. You have to make sure that the foundation of who you are is aligned. The problem is that there are a lot of women who are in relationships with men who, if they are going to be honest, is actually quite the contrary of this conversation. There's some women who get into relationships with men who their structures, their standards, their principles are so high that the woman has to do her best or, within her ability to be able to reach those standards And sometimes you have to be honest. Are you lying to yourself about who you truly are, or who you are capable of being? Are you going to rise to the occasion? Or do you know that you are actually unwilling to meet this person at the level in which they're at? And so you're trying to guilt them or force them to stay in the relationship with you until you figure it out, only because you know how good of a person this is and you don't want to let them go. That's the honesty that a lot of women don't want to have with themselves. That's the truth that a lot of women actually don't want to hear. And so it's easier to talk about, oh, he left me. He went with that girl and she was not this and she was not that. And she thinks she all that and she thinks she better than me. And she thinks she... It's better to point blame or try to diminish that person based off of maybe the things that you can visually see. Based off of the things that you have observed just on how she look alone. But maybe she was just willing to rise to the occasion. Doesn't mean that she's better than you. It just means that she was better suited for this man, or better suited for a relationship in general. That's just the truth. It doesn't have to be hard feelings. You don't gotta be mad about it. Sometimes that's just the reality. That's the truth. But a lot of women would rather say, oh, he wasn't good enough for me anyway, or he didn't have his stuff together anyway, or, he wasn't even half the man that I need in my life. They would rather say this, oh, she's better for him because she more dumb. She a fool. She a clown. He needs somebody that's a clown because, that's going to work for him because he don't got no sense. Sometimes it's easier for women to say that than to say, I dropped the ball. It was me. I was bugging. I messed up. He was a great guy. It didn't work for me. That relationship taught me that I have some areas to work on when it comes to my respect level. I have to learn how to not have the last word. I have to learn how to, in this moving forward or whatever the case is, that just because I might feel like I have more finances than the man that I'm in a relationship with does not mean that he's dumber than I am. And this is just going off of what this woman said. Okay, I'm just going off of what she said. Oh, he ain't have his stuff together. He could have never led me. Oh, I ain't respect him. He could have never led me. Maybe there's a lot more to learn from that situation. And sometimes we have to go internally and look at that. I'm not saying that this woman did not do any of that work, because based off of the fact that she's saying that the woman that he got with after her is better suited for him, I think that's somewhere along the lines that I'm talking about. Being able to look with, besides your emotions and your feelings and the truth of the situation. He deserves to be happy and I couldn't make him happy. He deserves to feel at peace and I'm not providing that for him. As much as it might hurt me to step away, I might have to do that. Because everybody deserves to feel appreciated, loved, and respected. I understand that. What's interesting is that a lot of the women who even have that mindset to have the humility enough to say that I'm not making him happy and he deserves to be happy and I'm trying to make him happy, but it's not working. A lot of times that same humility is what carries them through the relationships. That's what keeps it working. That's what keeps it staying together, because the fact that you're thinking of the other person, that selflessness is what it takes to keep the relationships together for real, for real. I'd like to know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. I would love to hear you guys' opinions on this video. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next one. Love you.